Because usually the funny things happen like before the things like that. Things like that. Hopefully,
the gun show.
I want people to see like your personality and stuff.
They can see my high ponytail.
It's funny that you say the gun show because when I was interviewing Trey, you know what the
I
first
have
thing
bigger
he
guns
did.
than Trey. That's a lie.
You hear that, Trey?
I'm just kidding.
She challenges you to arm wrestling. That's what that is.
I would lose.
Well, I mean, that's very kind of you, you know, to leave us with our ego intact.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the first thing he did. Trey's like, can you get my bicep in this? It was funny. Okay, I think we got this.
Testing. I bring the party bun out. Party bun. Trey lives right by me, right? Still?
Yeah, he's like right down
He
the
lives
street.
down the street from me, by the Golden Chick.
Yeah. He lives like right by.
Well, he was telling me that when he moved there, and I was like, you could walk to my house. Probably take you about 15, 20 minutes, but you could walk.
It's no lie.
Yeah, I probably could stand on top of this and see his place.
All right, well, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome. I'm Coach Rico Strong. This is Coach Megan. She's a group fitness instructor. She's awesome. And today, if you had the pleasure of getting to know her, we're going to get to know her a little bit differently.
Just a little bit.
Megan, what do you do currently for fitness?
Do currently for fitness?
Yeah.
Like, are we talking quarantine currently? Or are we talking...
Well, let's talk quarantine currently.
Okay, great question. Because I feel like with quarantine, it's just been a roller coaster of like, 1 week it's very motivating, and then 1 week it's like, I'm gonna watch Netflix. But lately I've been doing a lot of running and yoga. A lot of it, because I don't have weights.
Yeah.
I don't have anything, no equipment here. So running every day, or 5 days a week, and then lots of yoga.
Lots of yoga, lots of running. Is this keeping you sane, or do you have any other like things that are like helping you to kind of stay sane through all this?
This is definitely keeping me sane, because it allows me to get away from the fiance over there for like an hour or so.
Yeah. Her fiance is like literally in the next room. I'm pretty sure he heard that.
Yeah, he probably did. Love you. But it keeps me sane. Like, if I don't do any movement like at all, I go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's every fitness individual. We have to move.
Yeah, our bodies were definitely made to move. So I think, you know, one of the cool things about you is that when people get to know you and they're in your class or you're training them, like you have like a different energy. It's so interesting to me that you can get people to do certain things with a smile on your face.
Laughter.
You just got a certain way about you.
Best way to get someone to do something. Make
Right.
them laugh. I'm not an intimidating type of
No.
coach.
No, but you're not a pushover either.
No, I'm not a pushover.
Well, I wanted to talk about, I think one of the things that a lot of people want to know as fitness, because I was telling Trey on the last interview I had, we don't get into this business because we feel like this is the way to make a whole ton of money, usually.
Yeah.
Maybe some people feel that way, but we're in it for different reasons. So I would like for you to talk a little bit about how you were introduced to fitness and why you ended up making this kind of your choice.
That's a really great question. It actually goes back all the way back to when I was 5.
5?
Yes. I wasn't necessarily in fitness. However, my mom would take me like back in the we're talking back in the 90s, like when you had those like jogger strollers and like the strollers that attached to your bike. Like, my mom always made it a point like to be physically fit. And then I was involved in every kind of sport you can imagine. Figure skating, rollerblading. I did rollerblading, like roller hockey for a year. Gymnastics, soccer. Like, I was just always involved in some form of fitness. Carried on until college. Then that is where I would say, though, that was like the turning point for fitness for me. Was when I was introduced to, you can have a job in this? What? Like, I had this girl, her name's Casey Glass. And I believe she's now a trainer for the Navy SEALs. And
Wow.
yeah, she's amazing. I don't know where she is now, but that's the last I heard of her. She was my fitness coach or my strength and conditioning coach, and like she was well thought of. She had trained David Budaya. If you're like, who the hell is that? He won the Olympics in diving. So like, as a diver, you're looking at that. You're like, wow, she knows what she's doing. She would program, like she would come watch her practices, program and like exercises that would help us excel. And I saw it within a year. The difference in my diving. I was diving higher, cleaner, I was stronger.
So you were a diver in college.
I was a diver in college. I looked really good too as well. And that, she was definitely the turning point where I was like, I could do this for a job. And I remember having that first conversation with her being like, Casey, this is what I want to do. How do I get there?
I got so many questions based off of that. So you were active your whole life because your mom made sure of it, and then
she put me in every sport. I was the only child. So she had nothing to do with me. She was like, go play something. And I was hooked on any sport.
What was your major in college?
Kinesiology. So I studied the human body.
Yeah.
So
it kind of aligned in itself. But then this coach, you fell in love with this particular kind of fitness, because it sounds like before you were just active. You were in sports.
I was active. I was told what to do.
But this was training of some kind that just really
I
spoke
saw
to you.
in my own training, like I witnessed my own diving. Like say, like for example, so long ago, I don't even remember my scores, but like in diving, we go from 0 to 10 on every dive, and it's not like gymnastics where they hand out 9s. That's actually like really hard in diving. A 7 and a 6 is like a really good dive. Wow. So like, so I was getting like 5s. I'd only dove for a year before I went to college for it. So I was getting like 5s, 5.5s, and then all of a sudden I was like 6s, 7s. Like I saw a huge improvement, and she was definitely, besides my actual diving coaches, she was definitely one of those. Okay. That really helped with that, getting stronger and being able to, I don't know, like.
So you falling in love with fitness had to do with like seeing how that improved your life at the time.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of training were you introduced in as a diver? As
a diver, cross training. We did everything.
Yeah.
It depends on the season. Off season, we were running. We did sprints. We never did long distance run because diving, it's one of the only sports besides like fast sprinting, like short sprints, that is purely power based and anaerobic. It's not an aerobic fitness. The longest dive will take you 3 seconds. So like that's anaerobic right there. Yeah. So I would say with her, we were introduced a lot to plyometrics, lots of jumping, lots of resistance jumping, and then we started strength training. Strength training.
And so strength training can be in so many a variety of forms. So what was the strength training like for you in this?
We did a lot of power strength training. Okay. So like single arm snatches, cleans, a lot of lower body fitness. We never really needed to do core work as far as strength training there, but it was more like the power moves, like things that would train our fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay. That's the strength training that we did. We never really did never did lightweight for a lot of reps. It was always heavyweight, short reps.
All right, and then describe what heavyweight, because people minds of like what heavy is can be different, especially when it comes to like what women view as heavy.
Basically the last 2 reps were really, really hard. That's like how I don't have a memorization of how heavy I lifted. Yeah. But it was definitely like it was heavy.
It wasn't like you did like 2 reps and like, oh my gosh, that was hard, but I could do 5
it was
more.
Like I'm dying on these last 2 reps. I possibly need someone to come behind me. Yeah. It was that kind of lifting.
Sounds like this was like I can imagine like eye-opening. You went from like rollerblading and playing sports, and now you're lifting really heavy things and doing such power moves, and then you transition out of your college career.
Yes.
And you were already thinking, I want to do this as a job or a career. Yes. Yep. Where did you go from there?
So I went and I started training youth athletes, as well as I trained a lot of high school athletes, and then college, and then I did work with 1 or 2 pros for like a side fitness performance, and it was strictly with athletes, and that was a great way for me to like kind of get out like into the fitness world. So that was the first one.
I guess that made sense because you were an athlete in college, and so you could like connect and relate to people.
And the guy that I was speaking to was trying to get into the swimming world, and he was like, "You were a diver? This is perfect. Like,
yeah,
we would love to start training swimmers," because when you look at it with high school athletes, and it's still like this to this day, they have just their high school coach that does not know diddly squat about lifting. Even the football coaches in the ISDs, they don't know.
Man, that's like amazing to me because
it's shocking. They don't have any CSA, no CSCS. I don't even know if some of them have PTs, like personal training degrees or personal training certificates.
Maybe I should go consider that as a career.
So, like, I remember when I lifted in high school, I lifted twice in high school, and those are the only 2 times I ever lifted before going to college.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember them still to this day, and now I'm looking back, and I'm like, what did they think? What were they thinking? Like, putting me in a squat rack, or I think one time I had to do a chest press, and I was on the cross country team. When do you need to do a chest press for cross country?
Yeah.
Never. Does not correlate.
Right.
It doesn't. You don't train that.
And they're like, this looks good. Let's just
That's
do
a
that.
strength move when you're in an endurance sport. That doesn't make sense.
So, okay, so you became an athlete. You fell in love with this particular kind of training. You decided, I want to do this for a career, and then you delved into training more athletes.
Yes.
But then it shifted even after that.
So after that, I actually went into rehab, and that honestly to this day was probably one, besides the current job I have now, was one of the best jobs I've ever had because it taught me so much about the human body. I worked with a chiropractor, and then I worked with a guy that was like in physical therapy, and I would basically I would go see the doctors, and they would come see me after.
Yeah.
And the chiro would come up, and they would start talking in anatomical terms and be like, this is what's wrong, this is how we need to fix it, go.
Okay.
So basically they would adjust, someone would massage, they would see me to strengthen those exact muscles. So I learned so much in that job, and it still carries on to this day, for sure.
Man, I know I always use you as a reference of like specific things with the human body. I think every coach has their strengths, and among many of them, like I was like, people would come to me, it's like, Rico, this is happening to me. What do you think? I'm like, hold on, I think I have an idea, but just to be sure, let me like talk to Megan and see what's going on, see if she agrees.
It's so cool what the human body is like. Literally, like your toe could be like misaligned, and it just goes all the way up.
Yeah.
All the way up.
So even if you have a back problem, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, that's a whole other story.
So,
yeah, I had a problem with my foot, and it was affecting a lot of things, and it turns out that my arch had collapsed. So
it was affecting like his hips, his knee drive, everything.
Yeah.
So it's crazy when you think about that.
Wow. Okay, so now that you're doing something different, from there you moved on to group fitness.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really enjoy about this chapter of your fitness career?
I will tell you so with being in rehab, that's the medical field. I was in the athletic field. So I was in both of those, and I will be honest with you, one of my all-time favorite things about working in group fitness is that it's people that want to be there. And that like I can just, whenever I feel like you want to invest in your life and in your fitness journey, whatever it may be, that's when I'm like, let's go. It's just like when I was working in other fields, you kind of get some people that are like, my parents are making me come here. Like that was the high school, that was the youth athletes that I coached. And then you had the medical field, like not everyone wanted to be there too as well, obviously. Yeah. I don't know, with Orange Theory, I feel like you want to be there.
Yeah.
The energy level is something too that like, I get to be on a microphone and talk to people. Like, I love that. And I get to talk about what I love and fitness. Like, I could talk about that all day. It's not like...
Yeah.
It's not small talk.
It seems to me like because you enjoyed how fitness had helped you improve your capabilities, that you would want everybody to kind of feel that way in helping people to increase their capabilities.
Yes.
And because in the group fitness, people are there because that's what they want.
They want.
You seem to like gravitate towards
Yeah,
that.
I do.
Right on. So what has been like your best experience in this career of fitness?
in this, are you talking about what I currently do now or overall?
Can we do both?
We can do both because they kind of, I would say they go hand in hand.
Okay.
I like to call it the light bulb effect. When I see your light bulb go off, and it doesn't mean that I have to be right, but most of the time it is that I'm right about something. Like, let's be real.
I mean, you are a professional.
But like that light bulb where you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like, for example, I'm not gonna name a name. I'm gonna say, we're gonna just call her a member.
Okay.
She came, I have 2 examples, and they both are the same. So one thing that I'm very picky on is like squat form. I'm very picky on step up form.
Yeah.
Like anytime you are stepping up onto a bench, and I had people come to me and be like, Megan, I have knee issues. So I was like, okay, let me watch your squat. Let me watch what's going on. I've had 3 people like within the last year be like, my knee problems are gone. And it took one person
Just
looking at them, a little change, and majority of the time it was like, say this is their knee, this is their foot, and it's just like their knees going over and they're just putting too much stress. I know that's like a simple thing, but like that was a light bulb effect where I had 3 people be like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And some of them had been taking millions of classes and they weren't.
Nobody was explaining
that. And sometimes it's just about taking someone to the side and just being like, listen, like, maybe you're not hurting yourself right now, but in 20 years, like, if you keep doing this, like, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But the other day, I mean, like, I have one member in particular, she couldn't even step up onto a bench this big without knee issues. And now she's stepping up this big with dumbbells. So like, it's stuff like that. Now, granted, it probably took her about a year to get there, but you know, everybody's different. Everybody's different.
But you're helping her to improve her capabilities, which is what you enjoy.
Or another one is whenever you have someone that comes in, and this is another prime example of the light bulb effect, is when they're doing something and they're doing something high rep, super fast.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, let's slow it down. And if they don't listen, that's when you like throw in a little challenge. And then they're like, oh my gosh, that was so much harder.
Yeah.
And you're like, exactly, but you're doing it right.
Yes.
Even though you think it's a challenge.
It's funny that you say that because, like, you know, we come across like a lot of new coaches in this industry, and you know, we were all new at one point, so it's not like dogging anybody, but there's definitely a lot to learn about how to first understand how the body's supposed to move, and then it's a whole nother skill set to get other people to move the way the body is supposed to do.
Sometimes it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think it's fascinating, like, you know, squat form, that's a big thing that I really like to focus in on, and people's knees do certain things, and so I think it's really cool that just those little adjustments that you've been able to make and help people improve their life.
Yeah, and that was I give kudos to my second job. I had a chiro that spent every Tuesday with me for 2 hours going through the human body, and he'd be like, this week we're gonna focus on shoulders, this week we're gonna focus on knees, this week we're gonna focus on ankles. Like, and he like, I was like a student.
Yeah.
I listened. And it helped.
What was the funniest thing that has ever happened to you in your coaching career? Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I mean, I may think this is funny, but you might not. But I mean, I've had some funny things happen, but like one in particular was when I was a brand new coach on group fitness, and we were listening to this like really good playlist. I don't remember exactly what, but everyone was in the middle of a plank, and I was just like going. I was like, you guys got this, like, you know, giving them a little pep talk. And then the music stopped, and then all of a sudden, in the very end of the playlist, it yells, "You suck!" And literally, like, members are still holding a plank, are looking at me and go, and I literally just start turning red and just busting out laughing. I lost it.
You suck.
Yeah, I was like, God, and I immediately was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I did not pick that playlist, and to top it all off, I was getting eval'd.
Oh no.
Yeah,
like,
I was getting eval'd for that class, and it was fine. Like, the head coach was like, I know you didn't pick that. It was an approved playlist too on top of that. So I think it's just one of those that slipped through the crack. Like,
wow, that's not quite the motivation we were hoping for, Megan.
Yeah,
but...
that was a bad one. But everybody knows that's not me, so
right?
They knew that. They were like, oh, that's funny, and then they moved on. I thought that was funny though.
That is very funny.
Yeah.
What is your most memorable experience?
Ooh. Okay, I will tell you, Actually, my most memorable experience happened to be like 2 months ago, and maybe because it's memorable because it was so recent, but I just remember it so well. So we had a, what is it called? It's been like 2 months since I coached.
Like a review? Benchmark?
Benchmark.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
benchmark. It was the 1 mile benchmark. And I'm at one of my studios, and maybe in the past benchmarks, it hasn't been like fire. Like I hadn't felt that energy that like we were ready to crush it.
Yeah.
And they came in, and I had coached 3 classes in a row. You actually took one of my classes, and like I had never seen anyone go that nuts for a benchmark before. And it was so cool to watch. And people were just like crushing their goals left and right and like high-fiving each other and encouraging each other. And I was like, this is the team I've been waiting for. And
Yeah.
I said that on the mic. I said, you need to bring this energy every single Friday. Because
Yeah.
Preston Hollow, they were
Yeah.
going, woo, on the treads. I don't do that.
So that, man, it makes a big difference having that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, it was
energy
just,
in a class.
that was definitely one of my most memorable, for sure,
Wow.
was that one.
I'm sure people give you a lot of credit too, like, thanks, coach, and you're like, no.
No,
Thank you.
I'll never take the credit. I'm like, it's all you. It's all y'all.
You are very humble that way,
It's all y'all.
unless you're trying to arm wrestle Trey.
Yeah, Trey, I'm gonna beat you.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, and this can be kind of broad, and you can answer it
Okay.
however you want. Sometimes, people don't see us as trainers struggle.
Yes.
It's not like every day we show up to work and we're like, I have the joy of life.
Yeah.
But we have to at least pretend that we do.
Yes.
What was the hardest circumstance or situation that you've ever had to coach in or through?
Or through. I will definitely say there's probably 2, and one is being a new coach, for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I remember getting ready to take on a class, and I wanted to vomit. I was so nervous, but my mentality is if I'm not nervous, that means I don't care. So I can work through being nervous. It's just, for me, it's saying that first word.
Yes.
That was definitely one thing for sure. Like, just being new was hard for me to get through. And eventually, after I got more and more involved, like more practice,
Yeah.
was one. The other one, I know this is kind of dumb, but I was really upset about it. So if you are planning a wedding and your dad calls you and tells you that you can't have the amount of people at your wedding, or you
Yeah.
have to cut your guest list,
Oh, what?
I just remember like bawling my eyes out, walking right into where I was supposed to coach. And then within 5 minutes, I had to be ready, and I went, and like ready to go. I know that's like a small thing, but I just remember being super upset. And maybe that was just the bridezilla coming out at me. I don't know.
Well, I mean, planning a wedding could be stressful. So maybe
Yeah.
it was just
I
the
don't know.
perfect moment. It was like,
Maybe it just was like everything. Like, oh, I know exactly what it was too. It was my dad texted me. He got really frustrated, and he goes, well, the wedding's off. And that, yeah, there we go. I was like, it wasn't just about numbers. I know it wasn't. And then he took it back, and he goes, I'm just kidding. The wedding's not off. But still, like, it was enough to me, like,
that's like the playlist saying you suck.
yeah.
And then like, what
But
the
it's
hell,
good.
Dad?
I coached through it. I mean, I've been pretty blessed. I haven't had many circumstances where I've had to coach through. I mean, I've been involved with like, maybe I didn't get along with a coworker or something, and that was awkward. But that's about it.
Yeah, it's like normal stresses
That's just
of any
normal
job.
stresses of any job. But I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of.
If you were to give encouragement to somebody else who was either trying to get into fitness as a career or just get into fitness, I know it almost sounds like 2 separate questions.
Yeah, it can be both. But I always like this: start before you're ready, because if you just get the ball rolling, guess what? You're going. When I got into fitness, I would always say, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. And then, once you make it, like, just keep trying. Just keep trying. You're not going to have a great workout every time. And if you did have a great workout every time, we wouldn't be here, because it's the bad ones that make the good ones stand out. So if you don't have a bad workout, you would never have a good workout. I don't like it when people come up and like, that's such a bad workout. You're here.
Yeah.
You moved. You're on the couch.
That is, I might use that later.
Yeah, take it.
But that's so true.
Yeah, no, but start. Just do it. I mean, start before you're ready. You're never going to be ready. You never will be. I'm still not ready.
I think if you're watching this or listening to this in the wake of this pandemic and you've been like at home and you haven't had weights and maybe all you're relegated to is yoga, now the gyms are going to open back up. That might be a good mentality to start with too, as we're all kind of like resetting or restarting our fitness journey again.
I mean, yeah, quarantine. I mean, I'm restarting my fitness journey. I felt like right before quarantine, because I was actually supposed to get married in about 15, 20 days. So I was getting dressed, wedding ready, and I was like, I'm at the peak. This is great. Like, I was at the height of my performance for OTF, and then boom.
Yeah.
Everything shut down, and I have nothing here besides outside and TV for yoga.
That's okay. I think I was supposed to go to Mexico in July, which is now being postponed. So I was working on my Mexico body. I was looking really good before, and then and now I'm not as good looking.
Oh, Rico.
But I plan to get more good looking by the time we get back to Mexico whenever it opens up.
Hopefully, you get to go to Mexico soon.
Right.
I want to go to Disney World. I was supposed to go to Disney World.
Yeah, I heard they're starting to open up. Anyway,
yeah.
We digress.
Moving on.
I mean, that's really a bit. I just wanted to get people an opportunity to get to know you in a different way, because when we're often as trainers, we love talking with members, and sometimes we are counselors. People tell us everything.
Yes.
But we don't always have an opportunity to really kind of interact, and that's what this was all about, getting to know your coach, Meghan, a little bit more. Can they follow you on social media? Where can they follow you?
Instagram, Meghan Solo _93.
Okay.
I do like Star Wars, but I feel like if you've ever been in a class of mine, you know that.
Right. Meghan Solo.
Meghan Solo.
_93.
Yeah.
Okay, remember that. We'll post that in the description of this.
_93.
This has been great. This has been great, and hopefully we'll do this again. Maybe we'll do something else where we got educate people on like some other aspects of fitness. So,
yeah.
I'm Coach Rico Strong. I want to say thank you for joining, whether you were watching or listening, and I look forward to talking with you next time.
Perfect.